This is a class that I would absolutely love for you guys to be fully engaged in, to pay really good attention to, take notes, and in the end, take one or two action steps from the class. Mary is a top real estate agent in Arizona and California, and she is new to EXP. She's only been with us for about a month or so. And the reason why I've asked her to come on is, first of all, she is a highly successful realtor in 2 states. She's also a broker in California and Arizona. She's been in the real estate business about 7 years. Her first year, she capped in 7 months. Her second year, she capped in 5 months. And every year she's capped in 7 weeks. She's been the top 1% in the market center for 3 to 4 years, 5% in Southern California in 2021 in Keller Williams. She is just an amazing firecracker. She has just started a team, by happenstance. Some of you know that you start teams when people come to you and say, I want to learn from you. And Mary has had people raise their hand and say that. And so Mary is the one half of the Addington Group Realty, which Raymond Addington is her husband. Mary's the rainmaker. She goes out and she meets all the people. She brings in the deals, the money. She teaches and trains. And Raymond is actually the CEO and the CFO of the company. He also does some deals as well. So if you guys know of anyone in Southern California or Arizona, they would love to help you, and they'll take really good care of your clients. So without further ado, I'm going to welcome Mary Tan Addington and her husband, Raymond.
Hi. Good afternoon. And for all of you guys on the East Coast, it's happy hour time.
Yay.
So hopefully we haven't gotten there yet. So I'll try to get this really quick so we can get back to the happy hours. And thank you, Tanya. Those are all very humbling words. I think we've done well, and I've been extremely fortunate, and I've been grateful for the success that we've had so far. And I still think there's a lot more that we could do. With that being said, yes, I am one half of Addington Realty Group, and my husband is the CEO, and he essentially takes care of everything and allows me to do what I do best, which is just to go out and talk, right? That's what we girls do best, just in case you guys don't know that. So just a quick just a quick background on me. Hold on one second. I need to get my stuff working. Okay, there it is. So my backstory, and like Tanya said, I've been in business. I've been in real estate for about 7 years. I started in Keller Williams in September of 2014. The very first open house that I shadowed, I actually shadowed the broker, right? And it was 2 weeks later, I started it. My office manager's like, all right, Mary, get out there and go make some money. I'm like, sweet. So I shadowed him, and a couple of the advice that she gave me going into this open house, and she said, drive around. She's like, go early, drive around, and check out his signs, right? Check out his signage, check out how he's doing his signs. The second thing she told me to do was pay attention to what he's doing and what he's actually saying to the people that are coming in. And then, and see what he's using. I'm like, okay, right, fresh out of the boat, let's go do this. And I did drive around. And what I learned was that he had a lot of signs, like a lot. I'm like, holy smokes, nobody's going to get lost in this. He also let the buyers kind of see the house on their own. Like, he didn't follow them around. He didn't do any of that. He kind of just let us see around and say, hey, if you got any questions, come on our way. And he took notes on his phone, right? Technology. Notes, definitely a thing to do. And I also learned how to do a listing appointment on the fly. Like, literally after the open house, somebody that he met inside the open house that says, yeah, come on by and take a look at my house. And so I learned how to do a listing appointment on the fly, and which was awesome. And 1 week later, I did my own solo open house. I wrote my first purchase contract from my first open house. I also signed my first listing agreement. I capped 8 months later with Keller Williams my first year. I closed 12 transactions my first year, which gave me $118,000 in GCI, right? Like, oh, yay. And 75% of that came from open houses. 75%. And the thing is, my first, second, third, and fourth year, I can basically count each year anywhere between 60 to 70% of my income. So my first year, just to give you a little synopsis, my first year I did 118. My second year I did 125. My third year I did 222. My fourth year I did 280,000. Last year I did $400,000 in GCI on my seventh year.
Yeah.
Okay, so and my goal for this year is to get into the 600,000 and possibly maybe even break the $1 million barrier. We'll see.
So Mary, are you telling us that basically you had no SOI and you went out and started your business and went from here to here?
That was the thing, right? When I started real estate, honestly, I think it was just my husband's way of getting me out of the house, right? Because I think he just wanted me to get out of the house and go do something, right? So I had no sphere of influence. I had no friends. I had no family members around. We had just moved to Simi Valley, probably 5-6 months prior to that. We had just moved back to California 2 years prior to that. So when I started real estate, I was just like brand spanking new. I didn't know anyone. I didn't do any, And so how I basically built my real estate business was all through open houses. Week in and week out, every single weekend I was doing open houses. I would even do them on Fridays or, whenever I can. I would pick up as much open houses as I can, just so that I can do them. Because for me, I knew that my best, my broker told me too, the broker at that time told me, he's like, Mary, the fastest route to a paycheck is through an open house. So I thought, all right, let's go do it, right? Because my goal, my first year, was that I wanted to beat my husband's income, and he had a 6-figure income. So I'm like, all right, let's go do this. And I just held open houses every single weekend and essentially built the referral business. So 2020, 21, 22 now, 100% of my business now is through referrals. And all those referrals were from my clients that I got while doing the open houses. So it's been a journey. It's been a journey, and it's been a fantastic journey. So let's get right into it now that you guys have my backstory, right? Took a little bit longer than I anticipated, but any questions before I go on? Tanya, I can't hear you. You're on mute.
So this is mainly about open houses and your journey through open houses in the last 7 years. Can you tell us 1 or 2 systems, and you don't have to go into them, that you have evolved into or started taking advantage of in addition to open houses to supplement what you're already doing?
I don't quite understand that.
So do you have a CRM, and do you feel that that's important? And then do you also do like pop buys or anything like that?
Honestly, I don't, which I am going to probably start implementing. Believe it or not, when I started real estate, my husband was like, lead with revenue, lead with revenue, lead with revenue. So I've got really good building relationships. And so, with my clients, I probably have about a 80 to 85% attrition. So that means that 80 to 85% of my clients come back to me for whatever. I mean, even when they're looking out of state, they're like, hey, Mary, I'm looking out of state. What do you got? You know? So how I've kept all of my clients is that, you know, I call them up. I said, hey, let's go to lunch. Let's go to dinner. Let's go grab a glass of wine. Let's go grab scotch. Let's go grab, you know, whatever. Let's go grab tea. Let's go watch a movie. And I also Facebook stalk them.
Nice.
I mean, talk about being stalkerish right here. But yeah, I Facebook stalk them. And then now, you know, we do have a CRM that we did just start up. So that we actually started utilizing, probably back in April, we started utilizing the CRM. So for the past 7 years, essentially it's me stalking my clients is what I call it. And yeah, that's where we are. So let's go to the open houses and how, you know, I made 6 figures my first year. Obviously, you guys just heard my backstory. So with open houses, 2 to 3 days before the open house, hold on, yeah. 2 to 3 days before I get the flyers ready, you guys see a sample of it right there on the right-hand side, the list reports. That was just, you know, about 5 years ago. So my very first open house, I used the MLS flyers. I really didn't try to reinvent the wheel. I would get the flyers ready a day before. I would door knock anywhere between 75 to 100 doors. And you know, if they don't pick it up, I just drop off the flyer. And for that one, I do it just because I want to invite the neighbors. I love talking to neighbors. So I invite the neighbors to come in and talk to them. And, you know, for several reasons, right? Number one, they may have a friend or a family member that they want to move into the neighborhood, or, and this is why I love it, is that they have a house that they want to sell and they're checking out what you're doing, right? So that's why I absolutely love neighbors and door knock the neighborhood anywhere between 75 to 100 doors for each of the open houses. The morning of, I post on all the Facebook groups, and I'm part of like 200, 250-ish. So any place like that is relevant, I would post it, right? I would post about the open house, coming out and check it out and things like that. And then 2 hours prior to the open house, and a few people that are on here can actually attest to this, 2 hours before the open house, I actually place my signs. I place a minimum of 25 to 30 signs. And I mean, if I place 25 signs, I'm thinking to myself that it's too little, or I didn't place enough signs. And then I have up to about 100 signs. So it all depends on the location of the property and what I'm doing the open house, right? Where I'm doing the open house. I call that sweat marketing, folks. When I first started, again, my husband's like, lead with revenue, lead with revenue, lead with revenue. I got 3 for sale signs, 3 lock boxes, and I had 50 open house signs. That's essentially what I started, and that was my marketing plan. That was my marketing for the next 3 years. I didn't pay for Realtor.com. I didn't pay for Zillow. I didn't pay for leads. I didn't pay for anything. So my first 3 years was 50 open house signs, 3 for sale signs, and 3 lock boxes. And he says, hey, if you need more, let's go buy another one. If you need more, let's go buy more. And now I'm up to like 100-ish, maybe more open house signs. So, and why I call it sweat marketing, and you'll see it on the next slide. Oh, actually, no. So if you look at the top left-hand corner, that's the shareable. That's what I share. That's actually off of List Report, and that's what I share on the Facebook groups and stuff like that, and on Facebook and social media and things like that. The bottom left corner is basically the flyer, the List Report flyer that I print, that I pass out, because you can actually put the time and dates on there, that I actually pass out in door knock, and I take that to the open house with me. The top, the right-hand side is essentially a sample of what I post all over Facebook. So this was just recently, I think this was like 2 weeks ago or something like that, that I posted. You know, I said, hey, I'm getting ready for a pool party, right? Kind of see me. So that's what I posted on the thing. So here are my signs. I'm telling you, folks, signs do not like to be lonely. So do you see that lonely sign on the right-hand corner? It's a very, very, very sad, lonely sign. Whereas if you see all of my signs, I have anywhere between 6 to 8 signages on each intersection, right? I have at least 3 to 4 on each side. And, you know, I've been able to drive traffic, and I've, you know, I calculated this, my first 3 years. I haven't calculated it recently yet, but 80% of the people that came into my open house came in because they saw my sign. And literally, I call it the red carpet to the open house, right? And it's all over the neighborhood. So even if the neighbors aren't coming in, they see my flyer, they see my signs, and they're like, holy bananas, this woman must have a lot of business. And when they see this week in and week out, and every single week, and throughout the entire city and throughout the entire county, it starts establishing that notion in their head, right? Wow, she's just all over the place and she's just killing it. She must be one of the top agents. In fact, you know, I've gotten a lot of business from my signs. And guess what? Nobody ever gets lost. Nobody ever gets lost. I've had buyers come in that says, wow, Mary, he's like, we're not looking for a house to buy or sell, but we just had to come and meet you to see who this woman was. And I think 2 weeks ago, one of my team members was actually holding an open house for me and put out my signs. And there was a person that came in looking for it, and he's like, where's Mary? And he's like, she'll be here tomorrow. Yeah, the guy wasn't very happy apparently, but they come looking for me because they see the signs. They're like, wow, right? So my signs were my marketing the first 3 years, and my open houses were my marketing plan the first 3 years. So signs is the marketing, right? That's the marketing plan, the signages, the flyers, all that stuff. But how you actually get the leads is during the actual open house. So the things I actually have with me, I have my phone, I have my laptop, and I have my flyers, right? I am not there to sell that house. Do I end up selling it majority of the time? I do. I sold the first open house that I helped, right? But I'm not there to sell the open house. I'm there to get leads. I'm there to lead generate, folks. And I think that's what a lot of people, you know, don't take into consideration, is that the signs are my marketing plan and I'm there lead generating. So my goal, and this is what my broker told me at the very beginning, he's like, you just need to get one lead, Mary. That should be your goal. Get one lead per open house that I can follow up on, right? So I can follow up on it. And, you know, so I try to get the name, phone number, email, stuff like that. Some of the things I ask, and you know, all of the stuff I ask goes into a conversation. You know, I start joking about stuff, and you know, it's just a conversation, so they don't feel like they're getting interrogated. It's, hey, who are we out shopping for, right? And it's kind of that for me, it's kind of like an icebreaker-ish, because they just look at you like, what do you mean, who are we out shopping for, right? So it gets them to start talking to you and be like, oh, you know, are you shopping for yourself? Are you shopping for a family member, a friend? Who are you shopping for, right? And then like, oh, okay. And then they get into, you know, and I get into like, oh, how long have you been looking for, right? Mind you, every question I ask has an intent behind each question I ask. Where are you coming from? Do you currently own or do you rent there, right? What kind of a home are you looking for? And by the way, where are you looking? Are you looking here? Are you looking, you know, in the next neighborhood? Where are you looking? And most importantly is, why are you moving? Why are you looking? When do you have to move by, right? So before I go into the explanations for why I ask these questions, can anybody tell me why these questions are being asked?
Motivation, you're trying to find the motivation and the why.
Motivation, right? Yes, absolutely. Who are we shopping for? So I can find out, okay, well, do I really want to spend a lot of time with them? Do I not want to spend a lot of time with them? I don't. Most of my open houses are held by myself. I'm sorry, this is answering Dietrich's question. You don't feel comfortable putting photos. I actually don't. In fact, and I have my husband to thank for this. When it comes to open houses, I am very, very high on safety. And very rarely do I ever have a second person at the open house. That's also the reason why I don't follow people around the open house. That's also the reason why, you know, when, number one, I'm very rarely sitting down. I don't ever sit down in an open house if I don't have to, right? Or if I don't need to. Even if there's chairs and stuff like that, I very rarely sit down. And the reason why is because I don't want to be caught off guard, and my back is never to the door. I will never put my back to a door. I will never put my back to a client. I will never put my back to anybody coming inside the thing. And I'm always within a very short distance to an exit. So for that reasons, I've been, you know, lucky. I'm granted, that's not to say I haven't gotten myself into trouble, because my car has been robbed, you know, so that has happened and things have happened, but to me physically, thank God, nothing has happened yet. So I ask these questions for motivation, to find out what they're doing, to find out, hey, is this a long-term client, or is this somebody I can go right now and follow up on, right? Because that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for somebody that I can follow up, and that's going to want to buy or sell in the next, you know, 30 to 90 days, right? Because once I can find out the motivation and why they're moving, and I can keep pressing on that why, I've got myself a client that's going to close, right? The other thing I don't ever do, I don't ever shut down an open house. If there's somebody walking towards it, near it, you know, coming at me, even if I'm walking out of the open house and somebody's walking towards me, I will open up the door again. And it has happened before, several times, where the last person that was inside the open house was the one that I actually ended up closing a transaction on. So for that reason, I never shut down the open house. Also, going back to my signs, so I don't drive from intersection to intersection. I actually walk. So I would park my car on one corner, and I would take like 20 signs and I would walk it. And I also do that one so that I can get my steps, right? Every weekend I get my exercise, and that's how I get my exercise. But secondly, and most importantly, is that the neighbors in the neighborhood sees me walking around, right? They see me walking around. And I've actually closed 2 transactions where I was picking up my sign, and somebody saw me walking around and like, hey, which open house were you doing? And oh yeah, well, we were also looking for an open house, or we were also looking to, you know, sell. What can you tell me more about? And I was able to get an appointment with them, and I was able to close them. So, and that's why it takes me 2 hours to put out signs, by the way. Any questions on what I do during the open house? No? Okay.
I have a question.
Yes.
So is there a certain script that you use to do like the buyer consultation once you book the appointment with the potential buyers?
Yes. And that's a whole new conversation that we won't have time for right now. But yes, I absolutely do a buyer consultation, and I absolutely do a buyer agreement. I started doing a buyer agreement January 1st of 2017 for that reason. But all of my buyers, even till today, all of my buyers have a buyer agreement with me. And, you know, that's not required in Arizona or California, and every single one of my buyers have signed a buyer agreement. But yes, I do a consultation, and yes, there is sort of a presentation. I guess that's what Tanya has been trying to get me to do, is put what's in my head and my brain on paper. Because she's like, hey, what script do you use? I'm like, there's a script. Or what's your presentation? I'm like, I don't know, I just do this, right? So she's like, you need to put it down on paper, Mary. You need to put it down on paper. I'm like, okay, I'm working on it. But yes, absolutely.
We learned why she needs to put that on paper. So Mary and Raymond are my coaching clients. And because they just had a brand new team member raise their hand and say, I've been watching Mary for a couple of years now. I want to work for her. That's why creating scripts and processes and putting them on paper is when you can actually bring team members on and help them become your mini-me's. And Mary's doing a good job at that.
We'll see. We'll see. So after the open house, and folks, this is where the magic happens, right? Is after the open house. So you've already marketed yourself, right? You've already marketed yourself with the flyers. You've already marketed yourself with the signages, right? That's your whole marketing plan. And now you've built that relationship. You've built that, for me, I'm very good belly to belly. And that's why I do the open houses, because I can talk to you and establish trust like that, right? On the phone, not so much, because they see me like, oh, she's adorable, and then instantaneously falls in love with me. I'm kidding. But after the open house, folks, lead generation will make you rich, right? You need to lead generate. It will make you rich. Lead follow-up would make you wealthy. So follow up, whether it's phone calls, whether it's emails, whether it's text messages, whether it's setting up an appointment, right? Add them to your CRM, add them to your MLS subscriptions. If you guys have it, add them to homebot, whatever it is, just put your face in front of them, right? And always be asking for appointments, right? The ABCs of selling. Believe it or not, guys, you guys are in real estate. And I don't, you can illusion yourself however you want to, but you are selling. You are a salesperson. So you got to sell yourself, right? And what in sales, what do we always say? Always be closing, right? The ABCs of selling is always be closing. And if you ever, have an opportunity to read it, or if you haven't read it, go read it. The book Go for No, right? In that book, they tell you at least go for no at least 5 times with one client, right? With one person, at least ask for no 5 times. 5 times, folks, 5 times. So always ask for an appointment.
And I have a link to that book, by the way, and I put it in the Thrive page as well.
Yeah, so if you just ask for the appointments. I'll give you an example, right? I got a lead Sunday. On Sunday. I said, hey, talk to me about it. I got this situation. And I said, give my lender a call so we can get you pre-approved. Monday morning, hey, just seeing if you had a chance to talk to Tony, or and got your pre-approval started. Oh no, not yet, but we want to go see these houses. Awesome, I'll look them up. Right? Tuesday comes around. Hey, there's a couple more houses that we want to go see. Awesome, I'll look them up. Right? Wednesday came along. There's another couple of houses they want to go see because they can only see it on weekends. So they sent me a couple of other houses that they want to go see. And Wednesday said, great. Have you talked to Tony about pre-approval? Getting the buyer, by the way, I don't show anybody homes until they have a pre-approval. I don't ever show homes until they have a pre-approval. My first year, because I made that mistake of showing a home without a pre-approval, I ended up showing a guy over 100 homes over a 9-month period. 100 homes over a 9-month period, and I didn't see a pre-approval until we were almost in escrow. So I never show anybody a house now without a pre-approval, because a lot of the houses that we went and saw, he couldn't even afford. But once they came along, the example I'm telling you guys, once they came along and I said, hey, all of these properties went into escrow. So what that's telling me is that the market is still very much active, and your pre-approval is definitely a must now. Did you talk to Tony yet? Right? By now, I've probably already asked them 4 times if they've spoken to my lender yet. And finally, they're like, all right, Mary, what's his number? And calls them on Wednesday. Got the lead on Sunday. By Wednesday, they were finally contacting my lender. By contacting my lender, guys, that's another affirmation. That's another confirmation that they want to work with you, right? That's a closing tool. Now you've closed them, and then once I get them to my lender, guess what? He's going to continue closing them for me. He's going to continue, to expound how great I am and how professional I am and how amazing I am. And what all that is doing is planting those seeds into the client's head, right? To like, wow, we're working with an amazing team. Oh, wow, this is an amazing. And by the way, that's also how all of my referrals come, because they're like, Mary, buying with you was amazing, and selling with you is amazing. I mean, I've been in business for 7 years, right? I've been doing real estate for 7 years. I have a client where I've actually done 4 transactions with her, within the last 3 years. And prior to that, it took her 2 years to meet up to actually have a transaction with me. But within those 2 years, she was referring me to everyone else. Though she had never transacted with me, she was referring me to everyone else. Because she's like, wow. She's like, I like how you do things, right? So I use my lender. And by the way, if you guys don't have a great lender in Arizona or California, give Tony a call. And also, because with List Report and HomeBot, the 2 tools that I've been using and that I've been telling you guys about, those are lender provided, and you have to get it, and the lender has to provide it for you. You as a realtor cannot go out and get that on your own. So yeah, get them connected with your lender, because your lender is going to be a closing tool for you. Questions and answers. As Ms. Tanya has noted, we are serving in Southern California and Arizona. So all of your referrals are very welcome. I appreciate them all. Our contact information is right there. If you need to, if you have anybody in Southern California, give me a ring. If you have anybody in Arizona, give Raymond a ring, and we will happily take care of your clients for you. What questions and answers do you guys have? Questions, actually.
I have some questions that might help everybody.
Okay.
And that would be, how do you handle objections at open houses? What are maybe the top 3 objections that you're getting, and how are you handling them? And one of them I would say is, I already have a realtor.
Excellent. And believe it or not, a lot of people say that. I have a realtor already. Fantastic. Who are you working with? And then they'll give me, a majority of the time, they can't even give you the name of the realtor. So that tells me that there isn't anybody there, and they just didn't want to give you that information. Or if they do give me a realtor, I'd be like, fantastic. I haven't had the pleasure of working with them yet. And typically, and I tell them, typically, I know the top 10% of the county, and I haven't had the pleasure to work with them yet. And I always give them my card, and I'm like, if you need a second opinion, or you want a second opinion, give me a call. Right. So that's one of the objections I get is oh, I'm already working with a realtor. Great. Every answer they give me, regardless of what it is, fantastic, wonderful, amazing, and whatever adjective, verb you want to use to describe it, but it's never an things like that. So lately what I've been getting is the higher interest rates. And with Yes, I do. I will. Oh, I was supposed to have a link to that. Yes, I do. I actually use a local sign guy here in Southern California. I do know that he ships because he shipped it to me. He's like, I'm on my honeymoon, but I'll ship it to you. I'm like, sweet. So I know he'll ship it to me, and I know he shipped it to you. I know Build a Sign is also pretty good. They are a little bit expensive, but they are pretty good. And then so buildasign.com. They also have flags too. I really love those flags. So Build a Sign has flags, and then I use my local guy. I will add the contact information to the video, Tanya.
Yep, just add it. Well, yeah, just you can add it or give it to me and I can send it to people. The other thing is you guys can go to your local board and you can, usually they have some affiliates with sign companies. If you're with EXP, if you go to EXP Partners, there's sign companies there. If you're not happy with that, you can go into EXP Workplace, into your state, and then search signs or signage. And people would have already asked that question and they'll say, here's who I use. So a lot of times it's local, but I would definitely compare what Mary has. And then Chris?
I'll say when you're buying signs, buy in bulk. If
Yeah.
you look, they get so much cheaper if you just buy a lot of them at the same time. You're going to use them if you're going to stay in the business.
Yeah, and Chris and I were talking earlier, and people are always like, where should I spend my money? And just like Mary said, the first place you should spend your money is on open houses, signs, maybe some things for open houses. And Mary, what do you do for open houses? Are you know, some agents are like, I got wine and cheese, or I'm going to do a happy hour open house, or I got cookies, or I'm going to do a whole spread. And do you ever have any lenders sponsor open houses or any partners sponsor them?
No. But what I am testing out, and let me get back to, I'm going to show you guys this. Hold on. Let me get out of this. And Tanya, hold on. I need to get back to. Okay, so I'm going to, so I am testing this out. So I don't know if any of you guys are, or those coaching clients that are with Tanya. She's got like, you got to go watch this video. You got to go watch that video. You got to go watch this video. You got to go watch that video. So one of those videos that she made me go watch, and I'm like, fine, I'll go watch it, right? Begrudgingly, I said, fine, I'll go watch it. Was actually talking about doing can you guys see the screen?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Doing an exclusive open house just for neighbors. Right? Again, it's the same concept as the door knocking on a 75 to 100 doors, but now you're face to face with them. So I'm actually testing this out tomorrow. We're going to do an exclusive open house just for the neighbors. We're going to go pass out the flyers today, right? And this is exclusively, again, the exclusiveness, right? The people feel all, you know, fuzzy and all warm and fuzzy when we say exclusive. So exclusive open house just for the neighbors. And we are going to do it almost like a happy hour style. So we're going to have a charcuterie and we're going to have sangria, right? And the purpose on that would be to, one, again, going back to the neighbors. Hey, do you guys know anyone looking that you want to have neighbors? Bring them by, right? That's the first thing. The second thing, hey, we're going to be getting lots of offers on this, and only one buyer, you know, is going to be able to buy this home. So there's going to be all these other buyers that are also going to be looking for homes in this neighborhood, right? So if you guys are looking to buy, if you guys are looking to sell, hit us up, because we're going to have a number of buyers that didn't get a chance to buy this home. And now they're going to want to, and now they want to go look and get another home, right? So this is my experiment that I'm going to be experimenting tomorrow. And it's going to be a happy hour, and we're going to do, so this flyer right here, see where it says Friday, and then it shows you the time. So you can actually, we're going to be testing this out.
Okay, so Mary, as it relates to marketing the open house, do you put any money behind an open house Facebook ad, or do you use Facebook events, which is the video that I sent to you and I'll send everybody else? How do you use Facebook ads and Facebook events for your open houses?
What I found is that we have put some money behind Facebook boosting the events, right? And I haven't received as much benefit from that as I have just plastering it all over the groups. And what plastering it all over the groups also does for me is that it also gives the sellers, because most of my clients are on Facebook. Remember, I Facebook stalk them. Most of my clients are on Facebook, and every new client I get, I try to add them to Facebook. So what they're also seeing is, wow, look at all this marketing that she's doing, right? I can't believe it. She shared this to like 20 sites or 40, 40 groups. I've had sellers that's like, hey, Mary, I just saw your ad on, or I just saw your event on this so-and-so group, right? So I've actually gotten a lot more return by facing it onto the different groups than I have as far as Facebook ads are concerned. I don't know if that answered your question. Okay, she disappeared on me. All right, so.
Yes, sorry, I was on mute. Can you do 2 thumbs up? Yes, thank you.
So let's talk about listing. Let's talk about list reports and homebot for a little bit. So remember I was telling you guys about the shareables. So if you go here, and again, if you guys don't have an awesome lender, or you need a lender that has the tools already, reach out to Tony. But don't reinvent the wheel, folks. See, they already have the digital over here, the shareables for you guys. And look, it's already done for you, right? You can pick and choose the images. You can pick and choose what you want and how you want it. And then when you're all done, you can even choose the date, right? So if we're doing an open house tomorrow, 5 p.m. to 7 p.m., choose the date and time. If you want to choose the branding, you can, right? So like right there. Or if you want to, I don't know, whatever you want to do, you can choose the branding. And you can even, all you have to do is download it, and it comes up like a, can you guys see that? Yes, no, maybe so. Okay, awesome. So it comes up like that. And guess what? Take that and blast it all over social media. Take it on your Instagram, take it on your Twitter, take it on your Facebook. It's all done for you.
Now,
for me,
this one here, I want to point out, and Mary confirmed with me. So this is a house that's $255,000, and this is I think a mobile home. Mary doesn't normally do mobile homes or sell mobile homes. Mary, you're doing like a mega open house for this one. Tell us why in California at 255, you are willing to do an open house and put all this effort into something like this.
Funny story. Apparently, I seem to be attracting a lot of this. This is actually a referral from two divorce attorneys. So this is actually a divorce situation. And one of the divorce attorneys is assisting one of my other clients, and he's seen how, just how very, I don't even know how to explain it, right? He apparently liked what he was hearing, what he was seeing, and what I was doing. And so he called me up and he's like, hey, I'm like, hey, you wanna go list another property for me? I'm like, sure, why not? Right? I mean, who's gonna say no to listing a property? And, it is what it is. It's a mobile home. And, Tanya's right. I very rarely do mobile homes. I think I've done 2 mobile homes my entire career. But I'm doing this because, well, in this kind of market, we're going after a listing. And, most people are selling because either they're getting divorced or somebody died, right? So one of my marketing plan right now, or one of my marketing plan right now is to essentially target and market to the divorce attorneys. So that when they see, holy smokes, she's doing this for $255,000, when she's got $1 million listings, right? She's doing this for that. Wow, and that's going to get them to refer more to me, because if they see what I'm doing with the $255,000, imagine what I can do with $1 million property.
And so what we're hearing, and I'm hearing, is even though you've been doing this a long time and you're doing $1 million properties, $1.5 million, $2 million, you're doing whatever it takes to get future business. And what Mary has done, you guys, is she and I had a coaching session about talking to divorce attorneys and targeting them, and put this whole plan together. And boom, Mary, was it the same day or the day after?
A couple of days later. I was on it was on Monday, and I think it was like around Wednesday when this guy called me. He's like, "Hey, you want to go list another one?" I'm like, "Sure." Lately, I've been, and a lot more recently too, where just like whatever you put out into the universe, folks, put it out there. That includes your goals and all this stuff. Put it out there, because Tanya and I was just talking about that, right? We talked about it on a Monday, and then on a Wednesday, I got a referral. We hadn't done anything. I hadn't done anything. We just said it out loud and put it out into the universe, and here it is.
Well,
right?
And the biggest thing is all of you guys are assuming, or many agents assume, oh, they already have a relationship with someone. They already have a relationship with someone. Guess what? This attorney has relationships with a lot of other realtors, but he heard Mary on the phone negotiating, and he knows he needs a bulldog, right? Isn't that what he said?
Yeah, that he wanted somebody who, well, for a lack of a better word, wasn't going to take anybody's shit. I'm like, yeah, I really don't take most people's shit. So I'm like, yeah, no, I don't. And my client was like right next to him, and he's like, that's why I hired her, because she's a hustler. So he's like, all right, well, he's like, I'm going to need you. And I think where that comes from is that, for me, I consider myself a problem solver. So whenever people are saying things to me, I'm like, oh, let's do this and this and this and this, right? And that was the same thing. My seller came to me, and he's like, hey, we got to do it this and this. I'm like, no problem. 30 seconds later, the updated contract was in his inbox and in the lawyer's inbox, right? So he saw that I was like on top of everything, in addition to the fact that, yes, I can negotiate, and yes, I don't take, a lot of people crap, and I am very knowledgeable, and I am very professional.
Mary, I'm not sure if it is the same thing in your area, but here I actually live in a manufactured house, and
Okay.
a lot of the people that live here have homes in New York, New Jersey, and everywhere else. And sometimes they are looking for someone to sell those homes or buy those homes. So it's great referrals that way as well.
Oh, fantastic. We'll see. I think this is the second mobile home that I've listed. And I know we've sold over 150 homes in the last 7 years. And this is only the second mobile home that I've listed. So again, I'm taking it because guess what? It's an opening to more business. What other questions may I answer for you guys?
many open houses do you do a week, and how many do you recommend for a new agent that is wanting, that doesn't have an SOI, and they just want to go take this open house strategy by storm?
As many as you can. I try to do at least 2 a weekend. I try to do at least 2 a week. I've gone up to actually about 6 a week, where, and I know that those were some crazy weeks, where I would do a Thursday, Friday open houses. So I would do a Thursday and a Friday, and I would actually look at the neighborhood and find out what time the traffic are coming. So like one of the open houses that I did on a Thursday was right next to a school. So I would do the open house right before the school. So I would start the open house right before the school let out. So the school let out at 2:30. I started at 2, and I would keep it open until 5. So all the moms and dads that were coming to pick up their kids ended up stopping by the open house, right? If it was in an area, you know, where there was like an evening, you know, if there was like, if it was close enough to, you know, like a main street or downtown or whatever, I would do it on a Friday late afternoon, right? I would do it anywhere between 4 to 7 o'clock. So then what I'm getting is I'm also getting everybody that's coming home from work, and at the same time, everybody that's going out for a night out, right? So and again, my signages are also very strategic too. So my timing, the way I put signs and the locations and the intersections that I put signs are also very, very strategic. Like, because my job, again, don't forget signages and stuff like that, and even the timing, it's the marketing, is to drive as much traffic into my open house as possible. So I'm going to be putting signs where there's the most cars coming through, right, on Main Street. And so even if the Main Street is 1.5 miles away, and hence where the 100 sign comes in, I will be putting my signs 1.5 miles away, because my job is to drive them to my open house and get them into that door, right? Not for them to buy the house, just so that I can talk to them and maybe even possibly help them buy a home or sell a house.
Yeah, and you guys, I posted something about, we have a brand new realtor that just capped. She came on in October. She does 3 to 4 home open houses a week, and she basically just capped with 12, and she has 8 under contract. Brand new realtor, that's all she does.
Believe it or not, open houses are the fastest route to a paycheck. The fastest. Why? Because everybody that's coming into your open house, they're all warm leads, folks. They're all warm leads, you know. And if you take nothing away from this, it's the fact that yes, open houses absolutely do work if you do it correctly. And 2, we're in the business of selling. Sell yourself and market yourself, right? And if you don't have a lot of money, which I guarantee you, when I started, I didn't have a lot of money, get the open houses and don't try to reinvent the wheel. Don't wait. I mean, the first open house I held, I used someone else's signs. I used someone else's sign and still got the contract.
Which means you can reach out to other agents like Mary or anyone that has listings in your brokerage and say, hey, I want to hold some houses open. This is when my time is available. You could do that every Wednesday. Unlike Mary, most listing agents don't like holding houses open. They need someone to hold the house open. So don't be afraid to ask other agents. Text them every Wednesday. Hey, my name's Deidre. I would love to hold your new listings open. Congratulations on your new listings. Every Wednesday. And when they see you, they'll be like, dang, this girl is hungry. So if your brokerage doesn't, or if your team doesn't have listings and you don't have them, go look for them.
So one of the things, I remember I was talking to you about my signs are a marketing plan, right? So let's go back to the slide that I was showing you guys. If you take a look at, my sign, can you guys see it? Is it showing or no?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay, so if you look at my sign, it's bright red, right? So if you look at all the pictures, I mean, you could be half a mile away and still see my signs, right? You can see my signs, number one, because of like red, 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 right? And it's, I mean, even the way I design my signs is strategic, right? It's red, it's, you know, there's multiple signs, so they're seeing it multiple again. And it's like, it captures the attention, right? I mean, take a look at that lonely sign on the corner, right? I mean, if you are driving half a mile away, are you going to see that? Probably not. In fact, you probably won't see that sign until you passed it. And folks, when you want people to come to your open house, you want them to see your you want them to see your sign a long way away, right? You don't want to be like, oh, that's where we were supposed to turn and completely miss it. So even, like I said, I mean, the way I place my signs, where I place my signs, how I place my signs are very strategic and very intentional.
Mary, can I ask a question?
Yes.
So in Florida, there's a lot of communities that do not allow signs. How would you get around that?
Yeah. Be prepared to lose some signs. Be prepared to lose some signs. I've lost a good amount of signs. I still put them out there. I still do. I know there's a city near us where they'll only let you put out 5 signs, and those 5 signs also have to have their city permits on there. So what did I do? I went out and bought 30 permits because they're like $5 a piece or something like that. Or I think if you buy like 30, it was like $2 a piece. So I went and bought 30 and put it, and actually you can see it in the middle one, in the middle signage, you can see it, that purple circle. Do you see it?
Yes.
Yeah, the bottom middle, you can actually see a purple sign. So I actually went and bought 30 of them and just put them on all my signs. And, you know, I put them out there. Sometimes I get really lucky and nobody takes them, or the city doesn't take it. And sometimes they end up taking them. So I just put them out and then, you know, cross my fingers that they're still up when I go back and pick them up.
I tell you, if you don't mind, what I've done there, because we don't, a lot of places don't allow signs. I wrap my car and I stick the sign on top of my car.
Oh, what do you mean? Where do you put it?
I usually tape it. Well, my car's all wrapped, so I just, wherever I got to put it would depend on how I can park my car, usually in the windshield or whatever, and it directs everybody in.
Yeah, I have. There has been people that have gotten creative with that one. I mean, look, the stake signs, the H stake signs that I've got there, all of those are $8 a piece. And well, they're $8 a piece now. I think when I first bought them 7 years ago, they were like $4 a piece. So for me, I'm like, okay, I can afford to lose $4, right? Where I get really grouchy with losing signs is if they're like A-frame signs and they're like $60 a piece, then I start getting a little grouchy with them. But for my H-stick signs, I'm like, all right, whatever. If I lose it, somebody takes it. And trust me, I've lost a lot of signs. I've had to replace a lot of signs over the past 7 years. I'm just like, it is what it is. If, you know, if even one person sees that and calls me because of it, it's all worth it. What other questions? No? Again, if you guys have any referrals out in Southern California or Arizona, hit us up. We will appreciate it. I mean, we will love it. And, you know, as Tanya has mentioned, I mean, we just joined EXP on May 1st. And I believe, Tanya, according to our numbers, will be capped.
Yep, by July 15th.
By July 15th, we'll be capped. And I was already capped with Keller Williams when we joined EXP. So we essentially restarted our cap. Our cap, you know, we weren't going to restart our cap until September, but we ended up joining EXP just because I was getting listings all over the place. and, you know, and I needed to accommodate my clients. So we needed to expand. And, you know, even though we were capped at 100%, we still made the move to EXP because that was the right decision for our clients.
And if you're watching this now or in the future and you want to learn from Mary or Raymond in California and Arizona, if you're also in Florida, Maryland, or anywhere throughout the United States, and you want to learn from anybody on our team, Chris is also a top team, Chris Nolan here in Florida and Maryland. Any of us would be happy to help you, chat with you, and help you take your real estate career to the next level. But start with open houses.
Awesome, guys. Thank you, guys. Much appreciated. Again, our contact information will be in the, well, my number is right there. Reach out to us. We're happy to help, and you know, let's grow together. It's what it is. At the end of the day, I'm here to help you guys make money. So by helping you make money, you're going to help me make money. So I'm all good.
Love it. Thank you so much, Mary and Raymond.
All right. Bye, guys. Have a great
Thanks.
night. Go enjoy your cocktails now.
Have a good one.
All right. Bye, guys.